Hello, welcome back to Market Fatafat, where we are taking you through all the stocks that are in focus today, either on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. Now on the technicals, we're joined by Nilesh Jain, who's the head derivatives and technical research Centrum Broking, and from our research team, Anchan Rabinda, are joining us back. Hi, welcome on board, Nilesh. Let's get going with the first stock that you picked out for us, that's Jio Financial. Take us through what the chart structure looks like for Jio Finance. Today also it's up 1.4%. In fact, in the last 1 month, it has done pretty well for itself, an uptick of 13% coming in on Jio Finance. But from here on, where do you see this headed?
Very good afternoon everyone. So Jio Finance, you have rightly pointed out, we have seen a good rebound from the lower levels after forming a base near about 200 to 210. The stock is constantly witnessing a high top and high bottom formation, although the immediate hurdle for this particular counter is placed at 280. So that's the 200 exponential moving average, but there is still some more room left on the upside from current level. So with the stop loss below 251, Jio Finance can be added on declines or at current level as well. We are expecting a gradual up move to continue towards 270 to 278. So these are the immediate levels we are expecting in this particular counter.
Okay, so the levels to watch out for on Jio Financial. Let's move on. And Ansh, Greaves Cotton and earnings candidate numbers have come in a few hours ago. Tell us what the fine print looks like.
That's right, actually.
In fact, sharp uptick coming in on the stock. Ansh, 7.5%. I'm sorry, I'm really surprised. Take us through the earnings fine print.
That's fine. Yes, number came at around 1 p.m. and from that time, if we compare, then it is up by around 14% from that level. So numbers were very good actually. If we talk about revenue, then that is reported at 823 crore, which is up by 22.3% on year-on-year basis. Whereas net profit, that has also jumped by around 839% from 2.5 crore to 24 crore. Whereas if we talk about EBITDA, then here also we are seeing very good jump of more than 92% from 23 crore to 45 crore, whereas the margin has also improved significantly from 3.5% to 5.6%, giving an uptick of that more than 200 basis point. Also, if you see on chart, then the stock is trading with a good gain of around 8%, and it has actually snapped its 4 to 5 sessions of losing streak, and with this it has also touched 3-week high level today.
Alright, moving on to the next counter that is in focus today, and that is Strides Pharma. Now, Strides Pharma was trading up 3% in trade today. In fact, it has declined from the day's highs. In fact, it ticked up 3%. Now it has succumbed to selling pressure in the second half of the day. In fact, it's trading with cuts of 0.4%. But the news flow here is that the Strides Pharma's arm has acquired 4 ANDAs from the US market from Nostradamus Laboratory for around $2.7 million. And on the back of that, Strides Pharma is in focus today. It was trading with gains of 3%, but currently has cooled off and is reeling under selling pressure of 0.4%.
Okay, so that's Strides Pharma, and the stock reaction coming out on the back, coming on the back of the news flow. Ravinder, coming to you, Alembic Pharma is a stock you've picked out, not on the back of earnings. Tell us what the news flow is.
Well, yes, Alembic Pharma is in focus, where company has received an establishment inspection report from US FDA for the inspection carried out by them at Oncology Formulation Center and injectable and oral solid at from October 7, 2024 to October 8, 2024. So, but stock is not reacting and stock is trading at flat level.
Alright, moving on, Nilesh, coming to you, you picked out IGL for us. Tell us, IGL, how does it look to you on the charts? It is doing pretty well today. In fact, it's up almost 5% in trade. Tell us, how does it look like? Yesterday also, it was, last 5 days, in fact, it has done decently well as far as IGL is concerned. From here on, do you see this momentum to continue?
Right, so if you see today, we are witnessing a good momentum in oil and gas space, specifically IGL and MGL. Both the stocks are witnessing a good spurt today. I picked up IGL because if you see the volume participation so far, which is more than 1.4 CR and which is higher than the average of previous few days now. So good price and volume breakout can be seen on the chart, good build up on the long side with an OI addition of more than 2%. So derivative data also supporting this particular up move that we have seen today. The stock has crossed its 50-day moving average, and it is likely to test its 200 exponential moving average that is placed at 208. So from current level, we are expecting an uptick towards 208. That's the immediate target. With a stop loss below 185, IGL is a buy.
Okay, buy call on IGL coming in from Nilesh. Let's move on and talk about SBI. This stock is under pressure today, and remember at open also the SBI had fallen 2%. It's built on to those losses. 3% almost is where the stock is trading right now, with cuts of almost 3%. This is following the announcement that its board will meet on Saturday 3rd May to consider fundraising along with their financial results for the quarter and year ended FY25. And this is they've announced that this could be done by the way of follow-on public offer, which is SPO or rights issue or a QIP or any other mode or combination of these, as may be depicted at the opportune time, or as may be approved by the government as well as the RBI. This is what the news flow is on SBI. The board has announced that along with their earnings on Saturday, they will also be mulling a fundraising, and maybe this is what is hampering consumer investor sentiment right now. On SBI, stock is almost lower 3%.
Alright, moving on then, coming to you, Ansh, Ambuja Cement is the name that you have picked out for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Well, the stock is in focus on the back of its brokerage report. However, it is trading with a gain of just 1% right now. So Incred has come up with a report, and they have given an ad rating with a target price of 620. If we compare current market price, then we are trading around 540 level. From here, they are expecting 15% on upside. They have said that the profitability came mainly by cost synergies and pricing. They've also mentioned that volume growth was in line with the industry and growth plans are intact. Also, Q4 EBITDA was up by around 10% on year-on-year basis to 18.7 billion. Also, if we talk about Novama, then they have also come up with a report, and they have given a buy rating with a target price of 694, which is around 28 to 30% on upside from current levels.
Okay, that's the reason why Ambuja Cement is in focus. Nilesh, coming to you, United Spirits is the stock that you picked out for us on the chart. When I look at the chart, let's pull up the chart for United Spirits and see what the stock is up to right now. And it's looking pretty okay right now. Last 6 months, it's up by 8%. However, YTD, it's not done all that much after a 1-year jump of almost 20% that we've seen on the stock. Tell us what the outlook is when it comes to United Spirits, and what are the next key levels to watch out for.
So if you see in the market, we are expecting some bit of volatility, and in this kind of volatile market, the focus is likely to shift towards consumption. And if you see United Spirit on the monthly time frame chart, this is the second consecutive month where the stock is up close to 12% so far. And on the daily time frame chart, although we are witnessing some bit of consolidation in previous 5-6 sessions, but the undertone looks positive. And we may not see a V-shaped recovery, but yes, a gradual up move is something that we are expecting in this particular counter with a good margin of safety as well. So with a stop loss below 1520, any dip can be used as a buying opportunity to accumulate United Spirit for a position target of 1650 to 1700. It's a positional buy, but buy in a staggered manner.
Alright, moving on then, coming to you, Ravinder, Prestige Estate is the name that you picked out for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Yes, Prestige Estate is in focus, where Prestige Group announced its official entry in NCR residential market with the launch of first phase of the Prestige City, Indrapuram phases Oakwood and Mulberry. With all this approval secured, Prestige Group has begun marketing the first phase Oakwood and Mulberry, which together represent a gross development value of rupees 9,000 crore, making it one of the most significant real estate debut in NCR history. When the second phase Mayflower is launched, it will take the total GDV of entire residential development to a staggering rupees 12,000 crore. So back of this, stock is up over 1%.
Okay, well, that's the reason on Prestige Estates. And not only this stock, the entire real estate pack is in focus today. Top sectoral gainer, Macrotech being one of the top gainers from this pack. But on that note, we'll slip into a very short break on this edition of Market Fatafat and keep it going with more stocks on the other side. So you stay tuned. Hi there, welcome back to Market Fatafat. Let's keep it going with all the big buzzers in today's trading session. And Nilesh, coming to you, Bharti Airtel is the stock that you've picked out for us. Last 6 months, a decent 15% uptick is what the stock has given us. Last 1 year, quite the run-up is something that the stock has seen up 40% over the last 12 months. Tell us what's the outlook going ahead. Do you believe this momentum can sustain for the stock?
Right, so Bharti Airtel has been in an uptrend and we have seen good momentum in the recent time. Although in past few trading sessions we have seen a good profit taking and that has given a good opportunity to buy the dip, and from here we are expecting a new record high coming in this particular stock. We have already seen a new record high a few days back where the stock hit a high of 1904. But from here, we are expecting this counter to move towards 1950 to 2000. So that's another positional buy on Bharti Airtel with a stop loss below 1800. 1800 is acting as a very strong support. Even if you look at the derivative data, we are witnessing some bit of a build up on the long side as well. So technically as well as on derivative front, the stock is looking very strong with a buy and decline approach. Position target comes around 1950 and stop loss should be placed at 1800.
Alright, moving on from Bharti Airtel to the next counter, which is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank that has reported its Q4 numbers during market hours just recently. In fact, right after that we saw a sharp downtick coming on the stock. It has managed to recover, but nonetheless it's trading with cuts of almost 3.5%. Let's look at the numbers then. As far as the interest income is concerned, that's up 2.9%. The NII is down 7.5% at 864 crores versus 934 crores. The PAT is also down 74.7% at 83 crores versus 330 crores on a year-on-year basis. The GNPA has moderated to 2.1% versus 2.6% on a sequential basis, and the NNPA has also moderated to 0.4% versus 0.5% on a sequential basis. So that's the good news there. The PPOP is down 30%, coming in at 360 crores, and the provisions, however, are up 18.7% on a sequential basis. But net, the result looks weak for Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, and on the back of that, the stock is reeling under selling pressure with cuts of 3.4%.
Okay, so 3.5% lower is where that stock is post its numbers. Let's talk about another stock that's in pressure today, and that's IndusInd Bank. Remember, at the open, the stock opened with a gap down, recovered all of those losses, and see right now also we're on a part of recovery almost at the day's highest point for IndusInd Bank. So the stock has been recovering, and that dip has been bought into very clearly. And the news flow here is that IndusInd Bank CEO Sumant Katpalia has resigned with immediate effect. This is the word we got last evening. He assumes moral responsibility for lapses in internal derivative trades, and Deputy CEO Arun Khurana also steps down amid accounting irregularities. Remember, a while ago you had the CFO also who had stepped down, and the RBI had earlier granted only a one-year extension to Sumant Katpalia, short of the board's recommendation 3-year term. On the back of this, let's understand what brokerages are making out of this development. MK has downgraded the stock to a reduce from ad rating, also trimmed their target price by 9.4% to 725 rupees per share from 800 earlier. Kotak has also maintained the reduce with a fair value call of 850 rupees per share. So that's the brokerage stake coming in, and big news of last evening was the CEO stepping down and what the consequences are going to be going ahead. So IndusInd Bank flat in trade, but very good recovery coming in from the day's lowest point.
Alright, moving on then, keeping with IndusInd Bank, we also had Tamal Bandyopadhyay, who's the author and senior journalist, who shared his views on IndusInd Bank's accounting discrepancies. He emphasized that this incident has raised concerns and questions on bank's corporate governance. Let's go across and take a look at what he had to say.
It's not a huge dent to the bank. That bank will collapse, and neither for the depositors. I can't talk on behalf of the investors, but certainly as at this kind of thing, it's not a, the bank will go down under. It's that is not the question at all. In fact, Reserve Bank of India governor called it an episode. So I would agree with that. This is an episode, very unfortunate episode. It's not a systemic risk, neither is a risk for the bank. People's money are safe. Investors, they have their own calculation how to come back to this, or buying the stocks again. That's a separate, or staying put. That's a separate story. It will not have a huge dent on the bank balance sheet or profitability in future, provided the other businesses are fine. But it raises a very critical question about corporate governance.
Okay, so that's the word coming in from Tamal Bandyopadhyay on the IndusInd saga. But let's move on. And Ravinder, you've picked out CG Consumer for us. I believe it's on the back of a brokerage note. Tell us what the note entails.
Well, as CG Consumer is in focus, where Jefferies has come out with a note on the CG Consumer, and they have maintained the buy rating with target price of rupees 480. Jeffrey said that the CG consumer risk reward look favorable, and they expect EPS to grow at 22% CAGR over FY24 to 27 after falling at 3% CAGR from FY22 to 24. They say that the growth to be driven by premium product focus, new solar pump order, better sales, recovery in lighting business, and turnaround of Butterfly brand. Fans now sells at 25% premium compared to 12 to 15% premium over the last 5 years, and they say that the company has raised price 4 to 5 times by 1 and 1.5% each time in past 5 to 6 quarters.
Alright, moving on now from Compton Graves to Tata Motors. You've picked out on the shorts, Nilesh. Now, on the charts, Tata Motor has been declining away in trade. Despite the relief coming in from Trump tariff, domestic environment also looks rather weak, and especially for Tata Motors, the stock hasn't really done much. In fact, it has declined almost 36% over the last 1 year. So from here on, do you see this downward trend continue for Tata Motors, or do you see a reversal coming in now on the charts?
Technically, we have already seen a continuation of a downtake. The stock made a high of near about 1170 in the month of July 2024. So in last 6-7 months, we have seen a continuation of a lower top and lower bottom formation. The recent top that the counter has made of somewhere around 680, and from those levels, we have once again started witnessing a resumption of the trend of downside. And today, interestingly, we have seen a 7% fresh OI addition as well. So that is indicating a build-up on the short side is also happening in this particular counter. So it's a good price and volume breakdown for Tata Motors. The stock also slipped below its 50-day moving average today. So multiple indicators are indicating the stock is heading towards 620 to 600 levels on the lower side. And this has been one of the underperformer within the auto space. So we are expecting further downtick to continue. Keep a stop loss above 680 for the shorts, and if somebody is looking to make a fresh entry, it's better to wait and watch for some confirmation of a trend reversal. As of now, the trend looks weak.
Okay, so that's the latest outlook on Tata Motors and the levels to watch out for. Ansh, coming to you, BPCL, the earnings candidate, is something that you've picked out for as a 0.6% cut on the stock. Tell us what the numbers look like.
That's right. So they have reported revenue of 1.1 lakh, which is down by 1.7% sequentially. But if we talk about net profit, then that has actually gone down by more than 30% from 4,649 crore directly to 3,214 crore. But if we talk about EBITDA, then that has seen some improvement of 2.4% to 7,765 crore, whereas margin has also improved slightly from 6.7% to 7%. So in the morning, actually, the stock has touched its 5-month high level, and in the morning was trading with a gain of 3.5%, but currently it has slipped into red with a cut of 0.6%.
Alright, moving on from BPCL to coming to you, Snehi. You picked up Zydus Life for us. Tell us what's the news flow here?
Absolutely, positive news flow coming in for Zydus Life amid the red that we've been seeing recently. Zydus Life, good news flow, but still giving into the market pressure right now. The stock is up only 0.1%. It's received final approval from the US FDA to manufacture niacin extended release tablets in the form of 500, 750 and 1000 milligrams. The approved medication is indicated for the treatment of patients with elevated levels of cholesterol, and it is also used to reduce the risk of recurrent myocardial infarctions in patients with a prior history of heart attacks. According to the IQVIA MET, the annual sales of niacin extended release tablets in the US market were estimated at $5.5 million. So good news flow coming in for Zydus Life, positive for the stock. Stock seeing a tinge of green, but not much happening otherwise.
Alright, not much happening for Zydus Life for succumbing to the market pressure. But coming to you, Rabinder, Uno Minda is the name that you picked out for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Well, as Uno Minda is in focus where board of the company and JV company in the respective meeting held has approved a detailed project report for the development and manufacturing of high voltage category of 4W PV and CV EV powertrain product with total project cost of rupees 423 crores. And apart from this, board has also approved the overall investment of 114 crore approximately in the equity capital of JV company, which is equivalent to 70% of the equity stake in JV company. So back of the stock is up 0.3%.
0.3% uptick coming in on Uno Minda, but that's the last stock that we could talk about in this edition of Market Fatafat. Ravinder and Nilesh, thanks so much for joining us, and Nagaraj in the previous segment, of course. Thanks once again for joining us. On that note, we'll wrap it up on this edition of Market Fatafat. But as we do that, here out the